Hi lovelies! I have some exciting news. I am translating one of the new anime series for this season, and I'd love to tell you all about it. Except wait, I can't because I signed NDAs. So I have spoken before on this channel about how I'm a freelance translator, translate games and anime, and that freelance translators aren't always necessarily paid the best. I covered that in another video a while ago. And more freelance translators have been coming out and speaking up about their low wages. But another discussion now that is long overdue, that has been happening more and more in the translator community, especially the freelance translator community, is the lack of credit that translators are often given. You may think, okay, that's weird. Why are we not credited for something that we do? You know, they have the animators in the credits, they have the writers in the credits, they have the voice actors in the credits. Why not the translator? And really, we don't know why that is. It just seems to be kind of an industry standard in some ways to just not credit the translator. And as you can expect, I feel really good about that. But besides it kind of being an industry standard to just not credit translators, the other thing that's holding us back and preventing us from getting credit for work that we have done is NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. Many freelance translators who work for agencies, myself included, signed non-disclosure agreements when we started working for the agencies for whom we work, saying that we would not, obviously that we would not, like, you know, give spoilers and talk about like future events. Like for example, the current anime that I'm translating for simulcast right now, only one episode is currently being aired at the moment as of the recording of this video for people in Japan and all over, you know, the world. Yet I have already seen the first 3 episodes fully produced, and I have read the script for every single episode of the entire series in advance. So I already know how the anime is gonna go. I could, you know, just spoil it for all of you. I could say who dies and who dates who and who does what and whatever and all the juicy stuff. But except I can't say that, obviously, because that would be really detrimental to the work. So the NDA prevents me, obviously, from talking about that, like giving spoilers, you know, showing clips of animatic or footage before it's released. Also, like, I could totally get sued to pieces for that. But the other thing that it prevents me from saying is even that I am working on the project at all to begin with. It is why the title of this video is something probably kind of vague, like I'm not allowed to talk about what I translate, and is probably like a bunch of censored pictures and stuff, instead of, hey guys, I'm translating this season and it's really cool. And included with all of this, I'm not allowed to talk about, you know, any of the details of what I'm translating. I'm not allowed to talk about the details of what I translated after the fact, after it's already been broadcast, and it wouldn't necessarily be spoiling people because they've already seen it. I'm still not allowed to talk about like my experience translating it, or I can talk about my feelings about the show, but not within the context of I'm the translator. I'm not allowed to come forward and say that I translated it because of the NDA. And that sucks for at least 2 reasons. Many reasons more, but at least 2. The main 2 reasons why that sucks, at least for me personally right now, is, well, one, if I were allowed to talk about the series that I were translating, it would give me more clout. I would probably get more followers. People would probably be a lot more interested in the content I make because I could give like industry insider information about the series that I'm translating, not spoiling it, but you know, like I could give behind the scenes insight into stuff that I've translated. And the second reason that it really sucks that I can't say that I've translated most of the series that I've translated is because my resume between the years of 2013 and now looks pretty blank. It's kind of like that TikTok meme that was going around a few months ago. Tatsuno Kotaro, Galaxy Express, Lovely Complex. But I did not turn on the camera just so I could whine about how I'm translating this really cool anime and I'm not allowed to talk about it. There are some things that I am allowed to talk about because before I started translating for the agency back in 2013, which is pretty much through whom I do all of my work at the moment. Before then, I translated for Discotheque Media, and I did not sign an NDA under them, although they didn't credit me in pretty much everything I translated for them as well, which kind of confused me. And you're probably watching this being like, well, Sarah, why didn't you raise hell? Why didn't you ask them about it? Why didn't you demand to be credited? Because I'm a sissy. I'm really shy and I generally really hate confrontations, even if they're through email, so I just never brought it up. And by now it's so after the fact that it's like, well. But point being, I did translate some stuff for Discotheque Media in the past, and I'm allowed to talk about that, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. Now, most of what I translated for Discotheque was live action movies and such. all of which, like I was checking the website earlier, like almost everything that I have translated for them, by now the licenses have expired and or it's out of print. So I'll probably put like titles and pictures of things floating next to my head. I don't really want to get into all the stuff that like, well, it's out of print, you can't really watch it anyway. But yeah, most of the stuff I translated for them by now is out of print, expired license, and to be honest, a lot of it I just don't really remember doing. I know that sounds bad, but like when you've been translating for 20 years, it's pretty easy to forget stuff, especially stuff that was more than 10 years ago. But the very first anime that I translated for them and the very last anime that I translated for them, I very much liked both of those, and therefore I remember them. So the very first anime that I translated for them is a cute movie called Tatsunoko Taro, or Dragon Boy Taro. It's an older anime movie, and it basically, like, it kind of is just like folklore for how Japan got rice. I don't know if you put it that way, it doesn't sound very, very epic, but it's a really, really cute, well done movie. Some heartwarming scenes as well, even though it's about agriculture. I would tell you to check that out, but as far as I know, it's out of print and the license is expired, so you can't check it out. I don't know, maybe you can find it on eBay. But the other anime series, the very last thing that I translated for them, and another one that I really liked a lot and it stuck out in my mind, and you can see it, Lovely Complex. Crunchyroll is now streaming it, and I checked briefly, I compared the script to episode 4 with my script for episode 4 that I still had. I had to dig through some old emails to find it, but I still have it. I compared it, and yeah, it's my script. So Lovely Complex, that's being streamed now on Crunchyroll. I did not translate it for Crunchyroll, I translated it for Discotheque, and they are now streaming Discotheque's version of Lovely Complex. That is my translation, and even though I'm not credited, I did not sign an NDA when I translated that, so I am allowed to say that I translated Lovely Complex. So that's pretty much the one thing that I can say that I translated that is available for people to see that is anime, so that's why I'm saying it. Also, it's a really good series. It's a rom-com, and you know, some of you might be like, well, I don't like rom-coms, or I don't like shoujo anime, and it's like, I like rom-coms and shoujo anime, but I think like even for a rom-com and a shoujo anime, even if you're not the kind of person who likes those sorts of stories or that style of storytelling, it's really good, and it's a little unconventional as a romance because the two characters that are in this romantic story are a very, very tall girl and a short boy, which is, it's not represented. I very rarely have seen like a love story between a significantly taller female and male in a hetero relationship. So that alone is pretty cool. And I know I mentioned Lovely Complex in, I think the very last video that I uploaded of like anime that you can use to learn Japanese. And I mentioned Lovely Complex in the category of shoujo anime and like slice of life anime that is good to learn Japanese from. I neglected to remember that it's in Kansai-ben though. So it's good if you want to learn Kansai-ben, if you're like interested in traveling or like living in Osaka or Kyoto or like that area, then Lovely Complex is actually good anime to check out to learn Japanese because like it's in Kansai-ben. But if you're not interested in Kansai-ben, then maybe not Lovely Complex, but watch it anyway because I translated it and it's good. So I guess I'll leave you with watch every single anime this season, and one of those will be something that I have translated. Or if you want something a little more definite, go watch Lovely Complex. It's on Crunchyroll. I have a link in the video description, so check it out if you want to see a sample of my translating from like 8 years ago. Also, shout out to all the new subscribers who just joined after watching Red Bard's videos. Shout out to Red Bard while I'm at it. Go watch Red Bard's videos. They're really cool. It's like an anime history channel. There's a failed American version of Sailor Moon video up there. There's like a Could You Survive entirely on Evangelion merchandise video. It's a good channel. Check it out if you haven't already. And thank you lovely patrons as well. And thank you people watching this video. Bye!